Welcome to the Raw Mama podcast. Today, I'm joined by my husband, the person who helped me pack and lug our very full hospital bag. We thought we were being so prepared, but now that we're on the other side of it, we're going through the list together to see what we actually used, what was completely unnecessary, and what we wish we packed instead. Oh yeah, we're also going through the stuff that we got for the first month. So if you're currently packing your bag or just love a good what we really need breakdown, this one's for you. All right, welcome, Carlo. So everybody, this is my husband, Carlo Jones. Thank you for joining us, joining me today in this episode. Thank you for scheduling this. So it is actually the evening after he has a day job, everyone. So
every now and then.
Every now and then.
Check in and out of every now and then.
Yeah. Aside from all the Instagram videos that he does with me, he actually does have a day job. And so
bullied husband videos.
Yes, exactly. Is there anything you want to share before we get to it?
No, just happy to be here. Part-time dad, part-time husband, and part-time podcast producer. So happy to be here.
That's true. We actually filmed this episode at home too, but a lot of stuff was happening, like with Isla, our daughter, running around the house screaming. So it was very difficult. So now we are doing this again.
Almost too raw.
Yes, it was too raw. And then, just a lot of stuff happening. So now we're here. We're doing this again. And fine, let's get to it. Let's start with the hospital bag checklist. So it's actually quite long, but we narrowed it down to the first couple of things that you should actually think about. And do you remember actually where this list was from?
So I recently looked up the list, and I can't remember. I thought it was from Beloved Bumps, like one of the lists that we got from then, because I don't think we were using ChatGPT yet, which I think we should have at that point. Would have been much easier. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we just exported it, and then I put it directly into my Google Sheets, which I kept everything in. And I just revisited to look through it. Yeah.
All the prices on there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I also had check marks. So I have, percentage complete. How much, one side was how much we have, how much we've procured, and then how much we've actually packed. So we make sure that we have it and that it's packed. I
was too sick to even care.
Yeah.
And so I'll probably be figuring stuff out now when you're going to start explaining. For one, the first thing on the list is a car seat.
Yeah.
So Carlo picked the car seat. I was sick the whole time. I did not care. I was just like, let's just focus on growing this baby. I don't care. But Carlo was actually doing that and most of the other stuff. Yeah.
I don't think either one of us were paying attention, to be honest. I mean, because we had the list and we knew there were things we were supposed to get, but it was hard to determine what do we actually need or even picturing what they're for.
I was just copying Instagram reels, to be honest. I mean, which you should not. Now that we have bought a bunch of stuff that we actually didn't need, do not follow Instagram. Please don't. Unless it's something that's really, really good, like the Duna car seat, for example, which Carlo picked it. I learned to like it. It's quite heavy now because Isla's getting heavier and heavier, but it's genius. I mean, the Duna car seat, how did you pick it? What made you?
You don't pick the Duna car seat. The Duna car seat picks you. It's
a salesperson, everyone.
Honestly, but seriously, it's the best. I mean, the whole stroller process was a very long process. And, but when especially we don't have a car and, you're always getting a Grab, or if anyone's, listening from the US, an Uber. So you're always cabbing it basically. And so the Dune was the only thing that really kind of fits the bill in terms of being able to grab and go. Yeah. So at first we're we'll just use it for, hospital visits or whatnot. And it's just every day, I hope she never grows out of it. But then at the same time, for going to the hospital is the easiest thing to just pack and go.
Yeah. And you actually bought 2 car seats? Carlo went
Yeah.
slightly above and maybe
Forgot
two
about that,
above
yeah.
and beyond. He got 2 car seats. I love the Duna. That's what we use all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's the one where the wheels you can fold back. You just press the button, you kick it to the side, and the wheels just fold. You don't need to detach it and then pack the stroller and put it at the back of the car. You don't need to do that. The Duna just does that itself. But you bought something separate that was supposedly for travel. So he had one car seat that was the doctor appointment car seat, and he had another one that was travel car seat.
Yeah, it was kind of like a lot of the purchases where
Do not.
you buy 2 of them. You buy one that you're going to use every day, and you're going to buy one that you essentially put underneath your bed and you never use ever at all.
We're trying to sell it. Do not buy 2 car seats. Just pick one.
Well, it's hard to compare because there's
everybody has that money to burn. Like, come on, it's.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we don't have the money to burn either, but we lit that thing on fire. That's for sure. I mean, because you figure, okay, we have the Duna. They say, oh, it's only going to be like the first 6 months, and they're going to grow out of it. But she's a year old now, still fits in and everything, and so I think totally underestimated that, and classic overprepared parents, I think.
And here's what I learned actually from, like, in case you're planning to buy a car seat too. I learned that car seats have expiration dates, and it's apparently in one of the tags. I don't know. The car seat has so many tags on it. I don't know which one's which, but I heard that from another podcast actually, that car seats do have an expiration date. I don't know how long. We should really
mold, disintegrate, or just
the cushion,
eject or something.
The cushion thing, the one that actually saves their life. Like, it's not
like
as
deflates,
supported.
like it doesn't.
Yeah, something like that. It's not as like safe anymore. Even the ones. So if you're planning to buy a secondhand, always check if it's also been in an accident, because it's totally like you can't use it. Because
maybe they just say that so you can buy more of them.
No, it's actually a thing.
Was it like a 6-year time period? What's the time?
I don't know.
Period?
I don't know. I can't make it. I can't make it up.
Right?
I don't know. I can't make it up.
I don't know. Feels like we gotta double click on that one at another time. Maybe take it offline.
Yeah. Okay. So aside from the car seat, what else did we breast pump?
Yeah.
Breast pump. So I did not choose my breast pump again. Carlo picked for me. Mm-hmm. Can you please tell us the basis, how you chose it's not our current anymore because I stopped pumping around 3.5 months. But how did you pick the Spectra? Yeah, we went for the Spectra.
Oh, it's much more involved than that, and I'm getting all fired up now because I did a whole bunch of research on the breast pumps, and so it's such an important investment, right? Like, obviously, I'm not going to use it, but it's going to be
expensive.
It's going to be part of every part of your day, right? Like every 3 hours, you're going to be pumping, and then you have to store, and then you have to do all the different stuff. And so I've just went in a huge rabbit hole of searching through a bunch of different things. And what I found was that, trying to find like the most convenience basically, and then also the best, performance. And so the ones that, let me see which ones we had here. So basically,
are you opening?
You have two. Well, I'm looking at some of the. It's been a little while. It's been a little while.
Is that the spreadsheets?
Just looking at some of the key ones that we're evaluating at the time. But it was like 2 things that you look for. You look for a home base and you look for an away option. So ones that you can use just at home, you're all reliable, and then the ones that are like away and you're out and about and unbothered, right? And so the ones I was looking for the at home was, I think one of the most popular ones that came up was the Medela. But yes. The Medela is super popular because those are what the hospitals use.
Yes.
And so it's typically hospital grade. And those ones are, super expensive. Not to say that the Medela home base, consumer option, whatever you want to call it, is not good. But ultimately what I found was the most popular, and I think, used the most, was the Spectra. Right?
Yes.
And so that one ended up being, super good, reliable.
I think the yield is what they call it, like, is pretty good. Because
Yeah.
then it has like a massage option and it massages the breast first before it. Even you taught me this. I didn't know all of these things.
We actually didn't. I mean, we read about it, but you don't know until the
You
baby
actually
actually
know.
comes.
It's true.
But wait. So then there's the away option. So then for the away option, there's a lot of different things. You can do like a manual pump. You can do ones that, are automated. And so the two that we looked at, specifically were the LV and the Willow. So Willow, higher price point than the LV, pretty comparable. But what I would say is, I'm going to do a shout out here for this video. It is YouTube OBGYN compares wearable breast pumps, and it's by the doctors Bjorkman. And ultimately, when you compare the two, it was that the one that was the Willow, very good, and some of the features were that it doesn't leak. So the leak, like you can move around, especially if you're working and stuff like that. No matter what, it's not going to leak. It's a little bit bulkier, which maybe you find that good, maybe not. But
did you find it good?
Yeah. But there's two. So there's two at the same time. So it also, you're also conditioning yourself too. If you are breastfeeding, you only do one versus if you're doing double pump. So there's a lot of those things that come into play as well because you're conditioning your milk flow basically.
Yeah.
And so that one was a bit bulkier. However, leak proof. It had a lot of custom items, and that one was kind of top notch. The other piece was that it was a bit noisy. So it also has a little bit.
It wasn't that bad.
That's what the feedback said. And it was not terrible.
It wasn't that bad.
You could definitely hear it, if you're in kind of a quiet place. But then also
we were never
the
in
suction,
a quiet place with a baby.
The suction wasn't really natural either because it was just like a constant pull versus like a natural one that the Spectra does.
It's just
LV on the other hand, I told you got me started. So LV on the other hand was then not leak proof, but had a better suction and then not as bulky as well. So good feedback on both of them. We ultimately went with the Willow and the Spectra.
Yeah, so you heard it right. Carlo bought 2 breast pumps again.
I think you got one of the, I don't think it,
no,
2. Oh yeah, Home and Away.
You bought 2 of
Home
the breast
Away.
pumps. I did not get one as a gift. So I loved the Spectra for sure. It was just generally like as a exclusively pumping mom, it was very boring. I'm just sharing my opinion as like how I found the pumps. I think that they got the most out of the milk for sure. Like I believe that the Spectra is super good. I can't speak for the Medela because I've never tried it. My friends do swear by it too. And I have a lot of friends also using the Spectra as well. No one uses the Willow. I think the problem with the Willow was because their app doesn't work in Asia. Was it Asia or in Singapore?
It's Asia, because it's
Asia.
It's all US parts.
It's a US part brand.
Yeah.
I liked it because it was portable, but I felt like I was too stuffy. Like I had to get, because it's so bulky that I had to get a bigger bra to accommodate the space of that. So if I knew I was going to use the mobile pump, what do they call it? Like a mobile
pump. Yeah.
Mobile pump.
Yeah.
You had to get a bigger bra for it. So I had a couple of bras for that. It's just uncomfortable compared to the Spectra for sure, because you're just sitting and it's just sucking the life out of you. And I used it 3 times, I think. One at home for the first time to test it out.
Yeah.
Second was in a bar.
Yeah.
1 month postpartum. And third was on the airplane, which I found pretty helpful on the airplane for sure. Because you don't want to be like carrying that huge ass Spectra on the plane. I did have it in my overhead bin though, but I used the portable one instead.
It was also nice because then you could because you still have to deal with the parts. But because it wasn't leak proof and because it had more of a custom bag, then you could tie it up, store it super fast and not have to worry too much about it. And so, but yeah, you're right. I think we only used it like three or 4 times.
Yeah. I think
we're not out and about as much as we probably thought
I don't think this is going to really sell it, to be honest, now that I'm speaking about it, that I didn't like it that much. I think we were trying to sell it at some point, but no one
Well, it depends. I mean, yeah, I mean it.
I'm sure
But
with
also
that,
pumps you're not really supposed to sell. I hear.
I think some people like, some people can't like, they do secondhand. Here's what I found out. You can use for the spectra and the medulla. I'm not a doctor. This is just what I heard from the OG moms, the tenured moms who are like 4 kids, 5 kids. You can reuse the pump again. You just need to change the parts. So the hose thing, I don't know what they're called.
Especially.
The hose thing, the other, like the bottles, for sure, the bottles. I mean, it's sanitation. I mean, even if you have your second kid and it's still you who's using the pump, you have to change that thing.
Yeah.
But the machine itself, I think you could still use it for sure.
Yeah, I 100%. Because if you look at it, how it's assembled and everything like that, it seems like you'd be fine. I think the biggest part is just the pump, which detaches anyways.
Yeah. So well done for actually picking a really good car seat and a really good pump. To be honest, I love that pump. I gave it to my best friend after I exclusively pumped because she wasn't yielding enough from her own pump. So I told her to use that.
There you go.
And she loves
value.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably take it back. Sorry. Probably take it back when I'm pregnant again. If I'm pregnant again, knock on wood. All right. So I have some general items on the list, and I'm going to share that on our Instagram as a resource for you guys to use as well. But I'm not going to go rigidly and talk about each single thing because there's stuff that says 2 newborn outfits, 1 swaddle, a going home outfit, diapers, pacifier, those kind of things. That's for the baby. Like they're going to be in the resource, but we're not going to, I think, get into that.
Yeah. You might not even need to share the dad's list. The dad's list is clothes
water.
And cash.
Yeah, clothes. Yes.
Basically, just dress yourself. Yeah.
Exactly.
Which I probably need a list for anyway.
Exactly. So I think that's basically the 2 things that you need for sure for the baby, for the hospital bag checklist. And the other stuff, you can go about it with our resource that we're going to share. I would suggest things like diapers, like outfits and stuff. Like for sure you could bring those, but honestly, if I were to be a second-time mom, the hospital has actually those stuff for the baby. The hospital gives you a whole pack of diapers. They give you all these things. They don't need to be in your bag. You don't need to bring that much, to be honest.
I would say, though, is 2 things that I think you did really well on. I mean, not only 2 things, you did a lot of things very well. But 2 things I think was a good decision was getting your own hospital gown. So having your own kind of version. And then the other thing is when I was looking on the list again.
Super soft. Let me say the brand real quick. It's from Freedom Mom. Most of my postpartum wellness stuff, like for the pads, everything is from Freedom Mom, and the hospital gown was also from Freedom Mom. So it's very soft. It fits all too. It was pretty like it didn't fit my whole body, but it was still like there's enough space for like everyone. It's pretty big.
Free that mom.
And it was very soft, and I really liked it.
Nice.
Sorry, you were saying?
So when I was looking at the list again, what it also, under the optional, and it says most hospitals have these, was the pads. And I felt like the pads were more important to have your own.
Yes.
Because you brought 2 or 3.
That I preferred.
Yeah, and it was important to test those out because I think that was probably the most important one.
So that is on, so I separate. So there's a hospital bag checklist for the baby and there's for the mom. So that was part of the mom's list. And yes, I do have the pads on there. So I actually bought from this brand called, they're basically, they're not pregnancy diapers. They are called, it's for your period, menstrual diapers. They're menstrual diapers from Kotex, and you can get them. They're actually much better than what the hospital provides. The hospital provides something that's not comfy, and I really like.
Good to have a variety.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you tested out.
I had 2 different.
Yeah, exactly.
One was from Freedom Mom. Although I love Freedom Mom so much, I did prefer the Kotex one because it was just like underwear that you slip on. The Freedom Mom diapers, you had to put the pad and then the pants, which wasn't really, I mean, when you're downtown, it's not really feeling that great and it's sore. You prefer to just have one thing that you can just slip.
Was the cooling pad separate or is that the same?
Yes.
Separate, right?
Yeah. Yes, it's separate. You have to like
Is it a separate
sandwich
product
it.
or is it built within the, I can't
It's
remember.
a separate product, but there's like instructions. Like it's also from Freedom Mom. So it's like diaper, the ice pack, then the cooling pad, then the tux pads.
Yeah.
So all of those are on the list as well. If you want, they actually made me feel so much better, especially the tux pads. I found helped with the hemorrhoids because those, you're going to have those for sure.
Yeah.
During pregnancy and after pregnancy.
Pads were key. And
Yeah.
what was the nipple guard, the metal one? That one was
the
definitely
silverettes.
not as important as we thought it was.
Silverettes.
Yeah, silverettes.
What are the silverettes for? Do you remember what they're actually for?
I don't remember what they're actually for. I know what we thought they were for.
So you're supposed to put them in your bra after breastfeeding, or just like when you're not like engaging the nipples, right? So you put them in your bra, and because your nipples get so sensitive, so they're supposed to like shield it. Because even they're so sensitive that even if your shirt touches your nipples, it's just that tingly feeling that doesn't feel comfortable. So those were for that. We thought they were supposedly to ice sore nipples, so we put them in the fridge. We put it in the freezer for like a few hours, and we were like, "Okay, Carla, my nipples are sore. I'm ready for those." Takes them out, and I just put, and they're not. These are not cold at all. They instantly become super warm.
How hot are your nipples?
Yeah, and
man?
we
we just had these in the freezer forever.
These things suck.
Yeah.
Who would sell these? So actually, yeah, they are to shield the nipples and not to ice them down. They have a separate nipple icing thing for your boobs. So
that one the hard way.
You can get those.
Took the scenic route on that one.
Yeah, they're on the list. You can get those. I have snacks on here. The hospital has snacks too, but you don't really. Yeah. It's up to you on that one. 10-foot charging cable, which I thought was very, because you don't know the sockets of those hospitals. They could be far away from your bed and you can't get up. You could have had a C-section. And that 10-foot charging cable could have reached you, you know? And I found that super helpful because I think the socket was back somewhere like behind the bed. And so I was just like, whipped it out.
I was going to mention that one too, because I think that's a good call. Because you think about,
I think not a lot of people think about that. I think people think about power banks.
Yeah, which is also not a bad idea. You still manage it a bit.
But they're bulky and then you have to hold them. Yeah. But, you know, having the cable.
You got a hospital, you got all the wires everywhere and everything anyways. But yeah, that was a good call out.
Yeah. So other stuff are breastfeeding pillows, which we didn't do. We won it in a lottery. We won it in like this pregnancy lottery. And I was so happy because it was
most alive.
It was like the prize, number one prize, breastfeeding pillow. And I was like, Carla, I want that so much. I was so excited while I was pregnant. And like after, I'm like, let's sell it.
Context, we joined a breast pumping like seminar thing.
Yeah. And it was
pre-birth, and they're like, we've got prizes. And then you're sitting there, I was like, all right.
Come on. I want that breastfeeding pillow. So
we got the big prize.
You can get the breastfeeding pillow for sure. It's in the list. I just didn't use it. But I found a lot of my friends who exclusively breastfed found it super helpful. So I put that in the list. I mean, it's just my personal experience. You know,
there's a lot of versions of that one too, right? There's like the one that wraps around. There's the one that looks like an accordion that is like a wedge.
I don't know that.
We had one of those. The little wedge thing. It like looks like a little like piece of cake that you kind of sit up as well.
You had one that would like.
I didn't have one. I don't have a.
You bought one that would like
pillow.
You can insert. It's like a donut, and then you insert your hand and. It was like this pillow, the donut pillow. Oh,
that one was...
That could be a breastfeeding pillow too. Was it called a breastfeeding pillow or was it just like a donut?
No, it's just like if you're holding the baby and then you wanted to have like a pillow, and like in my arm would also, because I have hair on my arm. And so sometimes with the baby's skin being, super sensitive. And I had this bright idea, like, oh, what if there was like a pillow to put on your arm that you could like tuck in, like for the baby. And of course I go to Amazon and of course they have like 5 versions of it. You just dream it up. And so I got 2 versions of it and saw what worked.
Okay, so we're going to go through the stuff that we prepared at home. So we're going to talk about the stuff that we used and the stuff that we actually didn't use on the first and second month of the baby's arrival.
Post-arrival, okay.
Yeah, post-arrival. So done with the hospital bag checklist. You can check that in the resource online, or we'll also like attach it to this video if we can. I think on YouTube we can do that. And so now we're moving on to the stuff that you need at home.
All right.
Let's talk about, this is what I really wish. We bought it in the 6th month. And I was like, this machine is genius. I wish we had this. The baby Breza, yeah. Breza, yeah. Love it.
Well, yeah.
I love it. Our pediatrician also approved it. So don't tell us like we picked some random machine online, because our pediatrician approved that thing.
I was talking you into it. I was like, it's like a cappuccino for formula.
I was very skeptical because you press that button and then instant.
To be fair, it's a little bit skeptical, like when you're analyzing, because especially when very young. So we didn't get it till she was 6 months, but even very young, what I didn't realize also is that you don't want to give too much water. And so then the formula mixture is so important, especially very young. And so I also did a ton of research on that component too, on how they actually determine the mixture, because it's not exactly scoop, it's more of a weighting and all this stuff. And
they they do weight. Yeah. So I don't know the science in that. I don't know how accurate is it. That was my thought in the very beginning, but because when your baby cries, like they'll cry like 2 to 3 hours nonstop. Like they'll sleep, then they'll wake up, then they'll cry again, then they'll sleep, then they'll wake up, then they'll cry again. You are like shaking, trying to get this thing done, and you're like, the baby's like faster, and you're just trying to. Then there's the bottle warmer that we were trying to.
That's what we use most.
Yeah, we use the bottle warmer. Did you know, sidetrack, did you know that bottle warmers can also be used to defrost solids? So when you start
but I think
solids,
they take forever. I think it takes a long time.
For solids. I'm talking about solids.
Yeah.
But for milk, it took 2 minutes. And the baby screaming for 2 minutes feels like, when you're a new parent and the baby screams for 2 minutes, it sounds like 2 hours.
Yeah.
It was just like this screeching scream. She could scream. She can still scream now, 1 year and 1 month old, and God, it's pretty loud. It's pretty loud. It was destroying us. So I thought maybe the Breza. No, I believe the Breza can make it faster. Like you can make that milk. You can make warm milk. You can make cold milk. I mean, if you're on formula, if you're in breast milk, well, because we did breast milk, it
wasn't until the 6 or 7 month that we would even really be using it much, because we were doing the breast pumping the whole time.
That's true. But if you were to do formula straight off the bat, do the Breza, because that thing is just fast.
With the Breza, it was a U.S. product, so it had to get sent to Asia. Requested a bunch of like, will this work? What it ended up doing was then getting I don't know what it's called, but it's like a voltage, a reduction.
An adapter.
Yeah,
but
like an adapter.
Just like a convertible adapter.
And have a couple of those actually for other appliances so they don't blow up. But that worked, and it continues to work. And so that's another kind of tip. If you're in the market for a Breza, you're in Asia and you're worried about the appliance blowing up because of the plug-in. Yeah. It works to get the converter.
Love it. Yeah. I love it. I would use it again for sure.
Probably one of the fanciest things we own, and it's not even that fancy.
Yeah, we don't drink coffee, so that's pretty fancy for us.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the crib that we got.
Okay.
Wait. Let's give crib tips first before we make fun of our own crib at home.
Okay.
At the beginning, I found that our crib was pretty shitty. just because it was so hard to lower the levels, we had to unscrew, right? And then lower the level. Because I don't know how to explain it
Well,
properly.
it's not like, like some of them have like the bar in the front or whatever, and then you'd be able to lower it
Yes.
to then pick up the baby.
Which
and
I
that's what
found.
it looked like it was going to do. But
it
it's
didn't.
just solid. And then it has 3 different settings depending on how big, she
Yeah.
is. And then that one was, you have to get underneath it and then drill and then lower it.
Use a
and
drill
then
gun.
By the last stage, it's like on my chest, still trying to drill it. And
Carlo was losing his mind.
I lost my mind. I threw the power drill, and then
Wait.
that cracked that iPad.
He threw the drill because he was so pissed, and then it cracked my iPad. I'm still using it. It still works.
It was a final.
The crack is still on there though.
Lowered, but that one was. I'm not good with my hands either, so I
hated that crib for sure because it didn't have that unlatching door that you can lower it and then connect it to the bed, which I didn't like. But all our friends had the ones that could detach, and the problems with the ones that they got that could detach the front was it doesn't go lower. So when your kid, I don't know how tall, like beyond 75 centimeters. Yeah, beyond 75 centimeters, I think it's like everybody else's crib was like up to here, and their kids were like falling out of it. Ours, the shitty crib that we have, Isla's like 85 cm now, and it's like still here.
Yeah,
she cannot escape.
It's coming to its own now.
So I said this so many times on social media because people always ask. They really like our crib. I'm not gonna say the name because of the stuff I said about it. It is a local. It's a local brand.
But it is good. Like I would say, at the end of the day, it started frustrating because it felt so bulky.
Yeah.
But it was because she was so little. And but at that age, what we also had was, so one of the other strollers within our fleet was the Up-A-Baby, and it comes with the bassinet.
Yeah.
And then we got a bassinet stand, which was actually pretty amazing.
Yes.
And so then we had a little bassinet that we could, have around the house, especially during the sunbathing in the mornings.
Yes.
For example.
Yeah.
And then we had this giant crib. But now, year later, it's actually
love
perfect.
It now. I found it super perfect, and it actually converts to a bed.
Yeah.
Which is the reason why I bought it in the first place. And I was just like, at the beginning, I think the first 7 months, I hated it so much. And then around when she started standing up is when I finally realized this is a good crib. Yeah. This crib is not going to let her fall out, escape. And okay, fine, I'll say the name. It's a local Singapore brand. It's called Island Living. They make their cribs. I think the material is from Bali. It's a beautiful crib.
It's beautiful. Like people would see it and they're like, I want that crib.
Everybody always asks
me. And it's like very Instagram friendly looking kind of crib.
Hated it in the first 7 months for sure, just because it's lesser access to the baby. But now it's like as your baby gets older and more active, you want to trap them in there so that they're gonna sleep.
Our ROI is 7 months on that one.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So. I like it now. Yeah. So, the brand. It's up to you if you want to get it. I wish, aside from my personal wish, aside from the bassinet, the Up-A-Baby bassinet that we got, I actually wish that we had a lounger. But it's like this pillow donut looking thing, and you just put the baby in there and just lays there and just sleeps.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen it, but we never had it.
Yeah.
I think that maybe I would have liked it, but I'm not sure because I never tried it. But I put it on here just because a lot of my friends used it. They really liked it. So I think we also wouldn't
trust it either because, even though that the baby can't turn over, you're still worried that miraculously the baby's going to flip over and do something.
Yeah. I mean, but at that stage, you're always watching them anyway. Yeah. So I'm always like, the first 3 months, I'm just like, her finger moved. Is she okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
checking the stomach to see if she's breathing.
Yeah. Let's talk about our favorite item, the rocking chair. that we got.
Yeah, I could sell that all day long. And I have talked many people into that one.
Yes. Mother's Work, you're welcome. And the brand, you're welcome, because Carlo actually convinced like a couple of people to get this chair. Okay.
Yeah.
It's called the
Baby Vogue or Baby...
Babyhood Vogue Breastfeeding Glider Chair.
Yeah.
Okay. So this chair, oh my God, I love it. Actually, so our friends are currently pregnant, and so we gave it to them.
Yeah.
But I actually cried a little bit.
It is emotional to give it away.
Yeah.
Because so much of the first, for a while, but even
Everything
the
was
first
in that
3,
chair.
4 months is, in that chair. You're pumping the chair, you're feeding in the chair, and she's just, there in your arms the whole time. But the other part that makes, so essentially it represents so many special moments, but then at the same time,
it's so comfy. I would, if we
it's
had
the back
space
and spine support, because it's a bit like,
it
you're
has
going
like
to be
a
like
hole.
this a lot. And so the back and neck and spine support allows you to kind of be like that, more often. The only bonus was that the wedges that you used to have to sleep with and like put them in, we kept those and then used a wedge for the shoulder.
Yeah.
So that when you're, feeding, you have the little wedge here at the same time. And
it had this
hole. It was amazing.
It had this hole in the back that would adjust the shape to your back. And then like,
I don't know if it's just the shape. I think it's just a hole.
It just
I don't think it's scientific. I think it's just a hole.
I think it's something like chiropractic. Or
I'm sure it is. I'm sure there's some science to it.
It was super comfortable. And every time we talk to our friends about it, they will be like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. No, try it and then tell us how you feel.
Well, there's so much, oh man, now I'm remembering too, because there's so much rocking. And so like.
So much rocking, so much gliding. It's so comfortable. And it's just like there, and it's just.
And you get in a rhythm, because I remember, when she's crying, there's so many remedies that you go through to get your babies to stop crying. And so rocking was like,
especially
definitely
when you
a
have a colic
go-to.
baby.
And so it made rocking so much easier too, because you could also put your legs up and the footrest also glides.
Yeah.
So then your whole, you're able to kind of, soothe all at the same time. And then she goes to sleep on your stomach. You lay down. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was a very special chair.
Can we ask for it back when they're done with their like feeding journey?
Yeah. Make their own memories. And yeah, I definitely took some pictures before sending that away.
It's a pretty expensive chair. It's
not bad. I think we got it on, I think you can find a good deal out there.
It's expensive if you buy it from
I would pay triple
market.
the amount that it was for knowing what it is now.
Okay. Okay. We got it for secondhand, half the price, so it was a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
And it still had the tag on them. The mom before us used it for 3-4 months, she said.
I guess opposite story of us is she because I asked it, because we're all parents at the time. So yeah, she said she just ended up sitting in her bed more.
Yeah.
So I didn't really use it much. And
we're also doing.
Was in the bed, yeah.
We were actually also doing. I think both of us were just like
pump.
taking.
So you would pump, and then I would sit in the chair and feed, and then
those
we'd
were the
swap.
dark
and
days.
Yeah.
Don't remind me.
That was a teamwork at its finest.
Here's a winner of probably the most worst item. For us, could have worked for you. Baby Bjorn.
I think it was like
she hated that thing. She sat there. She was in that thing maybe for 5 minutes. Like
we had a very high bar for it. Like I think the day that you found out you were pregnant, you're like, I'm getting a Baby Bjorn.
Yeah, because everybody says like you can leave the baby there. It's gonna bounce the baby, and then that's it. Like the baby's gonna be like stop crying. It's just gonna rest as it's bouncing, and you can cook and you can clean and do the. She hated that thing. She couldn't stay there for more than 5 minutes, unless I was playing Mamma Mia.
It was not bad at the very beginning when she couldn't really move much, and you wanted to put her down somewhere kind of nearby. I think it just depends on the baby. But it does hold its resale value, I'll say. Like when we went to sell it, it held its value pretty good over time.
Oh, yeah. There are babies that like this thing. So Let me stop you there and just like the opinions that we're sharing are our own experiences. Like you could have yours as well. Your baby could love the baby Bjorn. Our baby just didn't. Maybe our second baby will. Not. I keep saying second baby. I don't know. I'm not pregnant.
Yeah.
I'm not pregnant.
What did you bring me on here for?
Silly man. Silly man. So I think what a good advice would be for stuff that you want to buy, even though you don't have a kid yet and you're not sure what to buy yet. I think it would be best. We didn't do that. I wish we did. And I would totally do it again for our next baby, is that we would borrow from friends who already have these items and then let them take. Everybody has the baby Bjorn.
We didn't have a ton of friends that had babies at the time, though. So it was all kind of
our friends.
Brand new.
We
kind
have
of
friends
stuff.
who had the Bjorn.
Yeah, I mean,
Our neighbor had 3. Our neighbor, and is also our guest.
How are we supposed to know? They're born one day apart.
The guest for our next episode after this actually has 3 bouncers. 3 different kinds of bouncers we could have tried.
Which is the tip, is if you're not sure what to get,
yes,
get like 4 or 5 of them.
Dude, don't do that. Don't follow Carlo. Oh my God. You're just going to spend so much money that you actually don't need to be spending.
Yeah. Be kind to yourself and then realize that, anything's going to work.
Okay, we have 3 more items. Let's talk about the baby carrier. You do not need that in the first month for sure.
But the wrap.
The wrap, yeah. It's still a carrier. It's just a cloth carrier.
Yeah, but it's its own like classification.
Yeah. It may look complicated at the very beginning, but once you do it like 2-3 times with the instruction video, you'll get it.
Yeah.
It's super easy. Carlo did it. I did it. She loved it. She was falling asleep. Very hands-free. You do not want to use the carrier. I feel like regardless of what carrier companies say, I feel like below 3 months, I feel like most carriers can't even like carry.
Well, two things. One,
ours was tiny. We had a tiny baby.
I would very true. One is that the wrap is like just good no matter what. Be a man, learn how to do the wrap, and then but it also supports the head and everything is that was I think one of the best.
And it was a nice
kind of
bonding,
closest hands free at that time. Yeah. But then the carrier, I just don't think we really knew how to use it at the time. It looked so foreign and we weren't sure I don't think it took us a long time to realize how high up you're actually supposed to have the belt.
I posted a video with that carrier and people online annihilated me. They just murdered me.
Yeah, they almost took back your baby.
Oh, dang. Yeah. People were like, your baby's not safe. The head is this, the head is that. I'm like, guys, please, I really don't know what I'm doing.
To be fair, the head's like halfway up.
Guys, I don't know what I'm doing. Just then tell me how it should be done. Don't scold me for it. Yeah. She's alive. She's breathing. Yeah. I swear to God.
Oh, but that was the biggest thing is how high up to put the belt, because at the start you have to have it pretty high up to have it kind of.
That's what I learned. So if you're using something like the Ergo Baby, it has to be high up. It can be in, I think for a 2 point. How much was Isla when she came out? 2.9 kg. I think the first strap at the bottom needs to be in your rib. You don't have a carrier, you will not understand what I'm talking about, but you'll get it. You'll get it. The first strap needs to be.
It looks
at
like
your rib area. If you're a lady with
engineering project when you open it. It's very intimidating.
Let's talk about bottles.
Okay.
We tried several bottles for sure. We definitely, because Isla was colic, and actually before she was colic, I immediately bought Dr. Brown's because I said, this is what everybody said that's good for the colicky babies. Why not get it? Just in case she is colic. Surprise, surprise. She did turn out colic.
But it wasn't so much that she was colic. It was more so that she...
reflux. She had she couldn't digest the milk.
It's because she drank really fast. So it was trying to figure out the right nipple was the hardest part. Remember?
Yeah. But a colic bottle is supposed to slow down the flow of the milk.
But that's the
reason. It was pretty fast.
Yeah.
If no matter how hard you suck that nipple, it's supposed to slow it down, which is why we found a bottle that we actually liked. But before I get to that, so we tried Dr. Brown's, we tried Phillips. Did we try any other bottles?
I feel like we tried a lot.
We did try a lot. I cannot remember.
Philips was a go-to for a while. I think Philips was first because that was also the bottle warmer and the sanitizer. And then we switched over, I think, to the Dr. Brown's.
Yes, the Dr. Brown's.
And I think, and then it wasn't until we finally found the
Bird
last
brand.
one.
So
the Bird brand.
We went to a lactation consultant to talk about eyeless feeding, and she found out that we use Dr. Brown's, and then she was like, I can't say. I think maybe they're not. They're not supposed to say the name of the brand. Well, we got Pigeon finally, and that's amazing. I think like it slowed down the flow, and I think she was burping more as well, which was good because we couldn't get her to burp. It was very difficult, which, by the way, is a shock, and something they really don't tell you when you're pregnant is how much you need to burp that baby till the very end.
Oh my God.
And if you don't, you will have problems, especially if you have a colic refluxy baby. So I found Pigeon really, really helped.
There is light at the end of the burping tunnel.
Yes.
Because
it does
you're
stop
just burping
eventually.
forever.
I don't even remember when we stopped burping Isla.
But it was such a big deal, right? Like, because you're like, you don't know.
And it had to be hard too. The nurses will teach you how to do it. It was like, and the nurse was like, no, like this, upwards.
Yeah, the sway. It
has to be.
It takes some. It's a technique. It takes some time. That's for sure.
Like that.
Yeah. But with firmness as well.
With firmness. And you have to like make it like a cup shape.
Yeah.
So that it's not painful. Because if it's flat, my God, you're just like smacking your baby.
Yeah. If you're not good at it now, don't worry. You'll have plenty of practice. But then it was figuring out if it's gas or if it's burping or where it is. And so that was the other thing is like the videos you watch where they just take the legs and then they're like, oh, go in and out. And then, oh, cute little fart. But we call Isla Serena Williams legs because you try to go like this, but she would just go firm legs. So you couldn't.
She was very angry about her tummy being unwell.
That was disappointing. I think we were very much looking forward to being able to do the little baby farts.
She did it once, and it was somewhat satisfying, to be honest. But she did it around 6 months already. It wasn't, and she didn't need it around 6 months anymore. I just wanted to let me try and see if it finally works.
Yeah,
it does work, but it didn't work at the beginning.
Yeah,
which was a total bummer, to be honest. All right. So before we end this episode, what is the best advice you got before heading to the hospital to prepare for labor and delivery?
Best advice I got, I think, is to pack the bag yourself. So for the dad to pack the bag themselves, because especially as you're rushing to the hospital, everything's going to be, crazy and everything. And the last thing you want to do is ask your wife or your significant other, where something is.
Yeah, while she's pushing the baby. Hey, where's this?
Yeah.
Hey, babe. You're gonna get in big trouble. Do not.
Where'd you put the crackers? but it totally need to. And to be honest, it's actually a good one just to have, even when you start to transition into diaper bags.
Oh yeah.
Is just know where everything is within the diaper bag. We ended up with a ton of different diaper bags, but the configuration stayed the same. But have the husband pack the bag and do it together, because then you kind of have an idea where everything's at.
All right. And any other advice you want to give dads? Are dads listening? I hope so. Or maybe the wives who are listening, you want to give an advice to like dads?
I think, especially at this point in time where you're like, there's a lot of excitement. You're determining, you're about to, go to the hospital at any time. You have bags packed, and even the bag packing process is where it starts to get real, right? You're going to have a baby. But the biggest thing I think that gets overlooked is that from a husband's perspective or from a guy's perspective, you're going to the hospital, there's going to be a baby, and you're going to come home with a baby. Very kind of natural. But what you don't realize is it's not that you don't realize that what your wife is going to go through in that process. But what you don't really think about is if you treated it as if you were taking your wife to surgery.
Yeah.
Because it's almost the same thing. It's a surgical procedure. And I don't think that it gets thought of in that way, oftentimes. It's that we're going, yeah, it's going to be, probably very painful, most excruciating pain you've ever felt. And then baby comes out and then you go home. But there's the recovery period. And so, as soon as the baby comes out, you realize you immediately have two people to take care of from that second on. And, especially, that instant, you're, think of it in that sense that, understand, how much your wife is going to be going through, the anticipation, and less of hey, this is going to be a, big moment in our life, which it is.
Yeah.
But think about, the fact that your wife's going into surgery and that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. Oh, honey, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Aw. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. Love to be here.
Thank you so much. I know it's hard. You have a 8 to 5, 9 to 5, whatever they call it, job. So Isla's sleeping right now and you took the time to be here and, go through this with me. So thank you so much.
Yeah, biggest fan.
Aw. And if you guys found this episode super helpful and maybe someone who may find this helpful, especially if they're pregnant and still picking out their hospital bag checklist and home checklist, please do share this episode and we'll see you next week. Bye.